the important thing of what happened on that final match is it undermines the good work that CAF has done over many, many years to ensure that that there's integrity, that there's respect, that there's ethics, that there's governance, as well as credibility of the results of our football matches. The occurrences, those incidences at the final match of the AFCON Morocco exposes is the work that we are still dealing with concerning the suspicion and distrust. It's a legacy issue. When I became president, one of the major concerns was the impartiality, the independence, and the respect of referees and match commissioners. And a lot of good work has been done, but there continues to be suspicion because it's a legacy issue. It's something that has been there for many, many years, and we consistently deal with that because that's critically important. Another important matter that these incidences at the final match brought to the fore is the independence and the respect of our judicial bodies. In choosing the members of our judicial bodies, we followed a different path, different from what had been the case before. We invited each member association and we invited every zone, the 6 regional areas or the 6 zones in CAF, to give us names of respected judges and respected lawyers, because it is important that the decisions of our disciplinary board, the CAF disciplinary board, and the decisions of the CAF appeals board is viewed with the respect and integrity that's very important to us. So if you look at the composition of those bodies, they reflect some of the most respected lawyers and judges on the continent. And but we will still have to deal with this, with the perceptions and the concerns about the integrity. It's an ongoing issue. We are very clear at CAF that we are enormously committed to ensure that not only in terms of what we do, because we've implemented best practices. We've identified judges and lawyers from every region, from every zone, from the 54 countries in Africa, to make sure that these are people who have integrity and have a track record. And partly the independence is reflected by the decisions that were taken by the 2 bodies. The CAF disciplinary board took one decision. The CAF appeals board took a totally different position. And I'm told that Senegal is going to appeal, which is very important. Every one of the 54 nations in Africa have a right to pursue their appeals and their advance interests, not only at the highest level in Africa, in CAF, but also the highest body, which is the CAS. And we will adhere and respect the decision that's taken at the highest level. A critical factor is that not a single country in Africa will be treated in a manner that is more preferential or more advantageous or more favorable than any other country on the African continent. We take what has happened at the final match in Morocco during the AFCON, the Total Energies CAF Morocco 2025, we take it very, very seriously. And we have already started with very important steps to make sure that those areas which have been identified as deficiencies and where there's need for improvement, that the necessary resolutions are passed. We have very high standards that we set for ourselves. It is important for us that ordinary football supporters and spectators in every one of the 54 countries in Africa, in their judgment, not in CAF's judgment, not in my judgment, regard the decisions of our judicial bodies as fair, with integrity and impartiality, and what is equally important, that they regard our referees, our VAR operators, and our match commissioners as people who are fair and just, and those decisions that are taken reflects the impartiality and independence that's critically important.
Hello and welcome to Channel Sports on Sunday. I'm Cecilia Mongbe, standing in here for Ken Ochonogo, who will be joining us from somewhere in the UK, London or Manchester. Well, he'll tell us where he is when he joins us on the show this very day. Yes, today we'll be talking about the CAF Appeal Board Committee, what the decision they took between Senegal and Morocco. And of course, with Senegal saying they're appealing that decision by CAF, and they will be going to CAF. That's the decision in the Senegalese Football Federation they have made. Also, we'll be talking about the D Tigers, the reward that was given to them by the National Sports Commission, passing the reward from the president to the girls when they were in Lyon in France during the FIBA women's basketball qualifiers. Though they've qualified for the World Cup, but that was just preparatory ground for them. But not all the rewards were given. The $100,000 still trekking from wherever it is, so it hasn't hit the account yet. We'll be talking about that one. Of course, the English Premier League is getting our attention because the focus is obviously on the team on a losing streak. Every team had their own season, so it's the season of Chelsea's, and they're chipping in lots of goals. We'll talk about them on the show. And also, yes, the match day 31, the Nigeria Premier Football League is getting to the business end of it. Rivers United, not looking good for them. All the games they have in hand, they thought they were going to win it, but they're just 1 point the top of the league table. So all the teams are catching up with them because all of them have played 30 games. That will get our attention. And also the Carabao Cup final between Arsenal and Manchester City. Who is going to be taking the first trophy of the season in England? Yes, that will also get our attention. And results across Europe. Bayern. How many goals have Bayern scored this season? I've lost count of it. 27 games they've played, 70 points they've collected from that. Only one loss this season, of course, about 90-something goals. I mean, the goal difference between them and the second, about 72 goal difference. Who does that? Well, Bayern actually, Bayern are having a run in the German Bundesliga. We'll be talking about that team on the show. Yes, I've got the regular guys with Ken Ochonogo. They are here with me in the studio. Theophilus Agbolao is right here. It's great to have you join us.
Yeah, it's good to be here, Cecilia.
And of course, Okpeyemi Ajala. They just revealed two together. I thought we were going to do one after the other.
Yeah. Are you practical 82, 83, or 84?
I'm not a lawyer. We're going to have a lawyer on the show to actually break everything down for us. Because even everyone on the street, nobody wants to be emotional when it comes to this particular decision. But if you take a look at the rules and you look at the loopholes, you can actually, they make rules, and rules are usually not clear. So someone can actually interpret it the way they feel like. And when that happens, obviously, some won't get the advantage that is needed. But it's great to have you join me on the show.
It's my pleasure being here.
Quoting the articles. Yes, Ken Ochonogo, where are you joining us from? He's not here in the studio, but he's somewhere in the UK. Supposedly holiday one. Is it half vacation, right? It's not a full one.
It's always a working vacation. You won't allow, have you ever allowed me to have a full vacation? No. Wherever
not in my
I am.
hands.
I'm in London, and then, we are doing the show. And then, like Ope did ask, are you in 82, 83, or Article 84? Which of them? Which of them are you taking? It's a little bit confusing. I won't say embarrassing, but it's confusing. But you had Motsepe there said, look, this is not the first decision. The first decision was by the disciplinary committee that threw out Morocco's, petition. Say, look, it lacked merit. But then the appeals committee met. And if you guys would just, because there's been a lot of talk about Nigerian person is there and Nigerian judiciary. I just want to read this, just give me a minute. The appeals committee is made up of 9 members. Of course, the person chairing it is Raleigh Daibu Harriman, which is a Nigerian. She is the person that chairs that particular committee. But apart from her, there is the vice president is from Cape Verde, and his name is Faustino Varela Montero. We also have other members from Tunisia. We have Moise bin Taha Nasri. From Togo, we have Espo, Asagwa, Kaminian. From Malawi, we have Masoko Timothy, Musungama. Then from Namibia, we have Moses Ikanga. What's that from Mauritania? We will have, Hammond Tifel Ebwai. Then from Djibouti, we have Mohamed Roble Ojama. And then the last person from DR Congo, we have Lubamba Ngimbi Hector. So it tells you that there are 9 members in that committee, the panel, that appeals panel. And like Mosape did say here, the judicial committees, which is both the disciplinary committee and also the appeals committee, are made up of lawyers and judges. So it is not for laymen like us. These are we want to interpret. So sometimes when this kind of decisions are made, we now wonder, okay, what they take into consideration in doing that? I just want to put that out there. It is not a Nigerian thing, and in most of these, I think Obek will also maybe do more light before one of the lawyers join us. I will let you understand that sometimes the president, don't have a casting vote unless just to break a tie. There are 9 members. So if 4 vote for one side and 4 vote for one side, it is now incumbent on the president to cast his or her own vote. So basically, there is no way you want to influence other judges or other learned men in any panel. The Americans have their jury system. With the jurors sit down and to decide. So please let us not every time look at it at a negative angle and say, the Nigerian was there. The Nigerian was there on merit. And then you can agree or disagree with decisions, but don't let us not put it on that, make it of course it is what it is. I think it is not what we believe that it is.
Yeah, I hope that is clear for everyone, because immediately after that decision, across social media, and people started talking about the fact that there is a Nigerian heading committee, and they even went as far as talking about Nigeria Football Federation, the past president being the one who put the person there. But now it's clarified that you have a member from every confederation, from every association, from every federation across Africa. You need a member from that, and that's what make up that judiciary committee. So it's not just one Nigerian head the committee, and of course every other one. Ken has actually clarified that. I hope people understand and stop the rumors that's currently going on. Now let's take a look at these CAF rules on withdrawals. Article 82 that everyone has been talking about. Take a look at the 82 and 83 and of course 84. Now start off with 82. It says, if for any reason whatsoever a team withdraws from the competition or does not report for a match or refuses to play or leaves the ground before the regular end of the match without the authorization of the referee, it will be considered loser or shall be eliminated for good from the current competition. This shall apply for all the teams previously disqualified by decision of CAF. Now let's take a look at 83, now which is the big bogus one here. A team that shall not be present on the ground, dressed to play at the time fixed for kickoff or at most 15 minutes later, shall forfeit the match. The referee shall register the absence of the team and shall write it in his report. The organization committee shall take the final decision in this respect. So this is where this article comes in. But you can't have Article 82 without 83. And now let's go to 84. The team which contravenes the provisions of Articles 82 and 83 shall be eliminated for good from the competition. This team will lose its match by 3-0 unless the opponent has scored a more advantageous result at the time when the match was interrupted. In this case, this score will be maintained. The organizing committee may adopt further measures. So the further measures adopted was, well, was it by the committee or by Senegalese team or by Morocco? Now, before our sports lawyer, talking about Mohammed Olarenwaju, joins us via Zoom from Ibadan, let's just digest this. I know you follow international law, you follow international rules, you understand FIFA's rules and the CAF rules. So how do we interpret? We're not trying to interpret what CAF is doing, but we're trying to understand it from this particular perspective, from our own understanding. Should we use the word a layman perspective from this? Because Article 82 and 83 will only exist, will only happen. Article 84 will happen when it contravenes Article 82 and 83.
Yes, Sisi, the match that brought George Finito to limelight in 1991 against Burkina Faso, where we forgot our playing pants and we had to an emergency tailor had to reduce the size and of course we blew the Burkinabes away by 7-1. Now, what Nigeria was trying to avoid there was this Article 83, where it says it's just like exams. Say you must be in the exam hall not later than 30 minutes. So this does not apply to a match that is already ongoing. A team that shall not be present on the ground dressed to play at the time fixed for kickoff or at most 15 minutes later. A match scheduled for 4 o'clock. That means if you are not there by 4:15, you are forfeited that match. Yeah. The same thing happened to Abiola Babes against Dragons when the fight came in Abeokuta that time. I think that was 85 or so. They are having issue with passport, and of course, Abiola Babes could not meet up before the kickoff and they were disqualified. So Article 83 will not apply to an ongoing match. It was a match, it will only apply to a match that you have not started. Now, Article 82, which, of course, and recall that Article 83 was the one that made reference to the organizing committee shall take the final decision in this respect. But Article 82 gave the referee the sole power. Article 83, which they did not contravene, gave the organizing committee the discretionary power. But Article 82, which on the basis of academic exercise said they contravened this, gave the referee the sole power. But the same referee never exercised this discretionary power, which was why he allowed the game to resume. Continue. So you cannot approbate and reprobate. You cannot take the Panenka penalty and come back and say, no, they forfeited that match. You cannot play a match. You cannot take a penalty in a match your opponent had withdrawn.
Phil is just shaking, nodding and shaking. I mean, of all the people I've spoken to, both administrators, former players, and even some members of CAF, I mean, those who have been in CAF before, I think none of them actually agreed with this boardroom decision. Is CAF actually setting a precedent here that may just because what Motsepe said here, that all the things they've been doing is what is struggle to say. What is struggle to say that it's like what happened right now actually undermined all the efforts they've been making in building an integrity in African football.
Okay, if this goes on and this is not overturned, CAF would have set a horrible precedent. That's my take. Secondly, like Okoye said, and I agree, Motsepe basically struggled in that conference, or that we give me that statement. He said a lot of things without really saying anything. As far as I'm concerned, I didn't really. I tried to pick out.
Let me pick out one. He talked about that the integrity of African football is at stake. So he's disappointed.
And nothing will shred our integrity way more. This decision.
It does not give any preference to any team that every country has the opportunity to appeal for anything. So there's no preference.
You know what?
Because the story came out about preference of loves Morocco. So there's no preference here. They give equal opportunity. And the third one is the fact that all the VAR issues that happen, they're working on that and also clarify the judiciary committee, which people actually didn't understand how it works.
The setup and everything.
I mean,
okay, you know what? Okwe even looked at it. You cannot appropriate and reprobate. My lawyer uses that a lot. But let's even take it from the way the layman will say it. The first rule I learned growing up about football is that the referee's decision is final. The referee's decision is final. That's the first thing I learned. And I think the first thing almost everybody learns on the field of play. This game, we saw how from the semi-finals against Nigeria, we saw how it was marred with different things happening on the field of play. Senegal came prepared. Now, they felt they had been robbed, they felt they had been cheated. It's not nobody's business. The referee decision is final. But what do? You decide to walk off the pitch. The referee could have ended the game right there and there and applied whatever rule. But he decided not to. The Senegalese came back on the pitch.
Because he feels it's a final.
And what happened was, it was because of a penalty that was given against the Senegalese. And when the game resumed, that penalty was not...
still played.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It wasn't ruled off. The Moroccans took that penalty, missed the penalty, went into extra time, and the game came to a fitting conclusion on the field of play, with Senegal winning it. Not even going to penalties, winning it in additional time. And out of nowhere, I'm just trying to imagine, I was telling a question before I came on set, imagine Argentina wins the World Cup in 2022, and then sometime in 2023, about a couple of months later, FIFA comes and says, oh, due to one... I'm just trying to see how it plays out in the head.
Not FIFA coming out, France will appeal
and
to the
obviously,
of FIFA, and then the appeal decision that, okay, you know what, it's swinging the other way. But then some people have been fined and everything, and then France would like, we are not satisfied with that decision.
This brings me to another. It even brings me to another thing on the appeal again,
this same thing happened during WAFCON.
Okay, yeah.
We won the match from 2-0, we won 3-2, and the Moroccans appealed.
Yes, they did.
They appealed against the Namibian referee. Yeah. So it's not it's a sort of gamesmanship which the Moroccans wants to be known for now. But I think it is to undo all the good works they put into football development in Morocco, because this is not the fair way. Football is about fair play. This is not the fair play. The
they
fair
actually
way
won a fair play award, right? oh my!
After the fiasco that happened in the finals, fines were issued out. Senegal was fined to the tune of almost $650 or $750,000.
Like half of the money they
earned. My question is, how did that fine come about? A panel sat.
There are things where the relief you can get are just damages. This kind of thing, when you consider issue of sporting integrity, and also the loss itself, the loss of the game, not sentiment. What Musepe, what he has struggled to do, I think he has dragged African football down.
Is it the one? I think because, you have different, he's the president, right? Yes. He has set up committees to actually handle different things when it comes to, running African football. First, you have there is a reason why you have the disciplinary committee. There's also where you have the appeal committee. So these committees actually help when issues like this crop up. So my grounds is, why can't they be unified in the issue? Because the disciplinary committee of CAF has already made the decision. But the judiciary is an independent body. So which Morocco decided to go to. So at the end of the day, this is not about Motsepe. This is about the people who made that decision. Do you understand? You get what I'm trying to say now? They've looked at everything and feel, you know what? Okay, this guy's actually walked out. And if you walk out, this is what should happen. But now you're now undermining the referee. That's where the issue comes in.
But we just went through.
No, I'm looking at Article 82. So I've removed this 83 now. Let's take 83 out. I'm looking at 82, which they base their decision on. This 82, and then with this 82 reflects what will happen in 84. So these two instances here that I'm basing my own analysis on. So if this happened and you decide to do this, so it simply means you're undermining the work of the referee. Not even CAF itself. It simply means we can actually make boardroom decision to decide a game, because that's the precedent they are trying to set right here. So if referee have finished a game and then an opposition can actually appeal, maybe something went on, they'll go to the appeal committee and then this will happen. That's what I'm trying to say, because for every decision made from now on in a particular game and you appeal to disciplinary committee would have come up with their own verdicts, and then they will tell you that no, they are not satisfied, they need to go to the appeal committee, and then the decisions might be overturned.
So Article 82 was very clear on who had the jurisdiction. Article 83 was clear on who had the jurisdiction. Now, coming under Article 84, to lump Article 82, 83 together, I think the lacuna, which no body in the spirit of fair play was.
Don't you think it's because there's no interpretation here? There's no further interpretation of what happens when a team returns to the field of play?
No, no. He said when you say you withdraw, you can't come back. And that is why if the referee had exercised that power,
at that very moment,
the referee allowed play to go on, and even allowed the person that was
done. So already this Article 82 would not.
Because they started from where they stopped. They started. The referee was
resumed from where
for penalty, and they resumed play. So you can't used the clause of being withdrawal from the competition. It never happened. So it was something that was unknown to the game that was played on the 18th of January 2026. So yeah, the referee has the sole power, and the referee exercised that power as given to him by the laws of the game, allowed the penalty to be played, went into extra time, and on the strength of the extra time that was played, the referee blew the final whistle, and the Senegalese became African champions for the second time.
I read somewhere in the FIFA bylaws talking about it's not just the laws of the game now. That's something they call the spirit of the game.
The game. Okay.
Spirit of the game, and basically they are basically giving all the power to the referee to enforce or to just put the spirit of the game.
To avoid boardroom points.
Do you understand? So the referee, and it's clearly stated here, the referee is the final arbiter in all of this. The fact that the Senegalese walked off was grounds for the referee to actually end the game. You understand? But the moment he didn't do it, so I will say this, the list of the, you said it comprised of a list of judges and lawyers and whatnot. I still think, and forgive me for saying this,
I think subject to interpretation.
Apart from that, I think sports lawyers, people that actually watch the game, people that follow the game, people that understand the game should be called upon to interpret the game.
Okay, we'll be talking about those who understand the game. A sports lawyer, Mohammed Olariwaju, is joining us from Ibadan to actually help us to unravel or help us to understand why the appeal committee of CAF actually made the decision, and decided to give the title, the trophy that was won January 18 to Morocco, the host nation. Good afternoon. It's great to have you join us, lad.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone at home.
Good afternoon.
Okay, let's just go straight to the point. I believe you know what has been going on concerning CAF decision at Senegal and Morocco. Senegalese wanting to appeal, Senegal happy about it, and of course some players saying it's well deserved. Even their coach congratulating the country, for all their hard work. That is a trophy that is well deserved. What do you think about the appeal committee decision of CAF to decided to award the trophy to Senegal almost 2 months after they won the title in Morocco?
I think personally, what the appeal committee look at is strictly to interpret the extant provision of Article 84 of the CAF disciplinary code. And if you apply that literary rule of interpretation, it means Senegal, by walking off the pitch, had already forfeited that match, and 3 goals will be awarded for Morocco, and Morocco will be declared the winner. That is just the literal interpretation of Article 84. But that interpretation will lead to absurdity because it will erase so many things. And because the particular article, that particular section of the law, did not anticipate a situation where teams walk off the pitch and eventually return back to the pitch. That is one. The referee signaled continuation of that match. The match was won and lost, winners declared, and I'm very, very sure it will be reflected in the referee's final note that that match continued, ended, and he blew the final whistle. Medals were awarded, trophy was presented to Senegal, and even individual awards were given to players who merited them. So in interpreting Section 84 strictly, that will create absurdity because it will mean that you have to undo everything that happened up to the time the Senegalese players walk off the pitch, which will create absurdity. And that is why I said, because lawyers, judges will look at different interpretation rules. And what they will do is to look at the interpretation that will not create problem, that will go to the intent and purpose of why that rules were made. And strictly, the rules were made to discourage teams from either one, abandoning the match or refuse to play. And in this sense, although Senegalese players walk off the pitch, but they did not refuse to play. they walk back to the pitch, completed the match. And that is why lawyers or commentators who align with the strict interpretation of Section 84 will create problem, and it will create absurdity. That is my personal opinion.
Interesting. I don't know if Ken wants to come in here to ask you some questions, but before he would do that, now, what is the situation with Senegal now? Because they said they want to appeal. Because I've read about some pundits and also some sports lawyers who understand, how it works in CAF. They're saying it might take up to 6 months or even close to a year, and then it's possible that CAF may not undermine the decision of the appeal committee, looking at all the facts before them. What do you think? Do you think Senegal will win this case once they go to CAF?
I strongly believe so, because they will go to CAF, and there's no urgency in this matter. Even if it takes us 1 year, 2 years, nobody is bothered, because at the end of the day, we want to see that justice is done. And this will also add to the jurisprudence of sports law all over the world. And I believe Senegalese have a very strong case, because if you situate this particular situation with the law of the game, which is Law 5 of the Law of Game by IFAB, which states that referee decision regarding conduct and actions of players during the match is final. The finality in this is because the law wants everybody to respect the decision of the referee. If you are saying that the referee's decision is final, CAF and CAF Appeal Committee should have respected the decision of the referee, because I am very sure it's before everybody that the referee decision to allow Senegalese players to return back to the pitch and continue with the game. And I am very, very sure this is very obvious. This will also reflect in the final report of the referee, which means the referee that allowed the Senegalese players to come back to the pitch and completed the game gave that authorization, because everybody has been talking about leaving the pitch of play without referee's authorization. Nobody is looking at returning back to the pitch with same referee's authorization, because if the referee had blown out the final whistle shortly after they left the pitch, it would have been a different game. If Senegal is now appeal against that decision, that would mean that the referee's decision to blow the final whistle after the walk-off remained final. So you can't approbate and reprobate at the same time. If you know, because the essence of bringing out all these Article 82, Article 83, and the punitive rules of 84 is to inform every players, every team, every officials that they should respect referee decision. The act of walking up the pitch was against the decision of referee to have awarded penalty to Morocco. Yes, and so, and because of that, the rules of engagement was that referee decision must be final. And for them to have walked up the pitch was to challenge the decision of the referee. And maybe because they have reminded themselves or conscious of the fact that they might likely be declared to have forfeited that match, they rushed back to the pitch, and the referee allowed them. And by referee allowing them, that means the decision of the referee should be sacrosanct and allow this match to remain as it is. And the decision of the disciplinary committee upheld the decision of that referee, because they look at that report before they upheld the decision of referee and meted those sanctions against individuals, especially the coach of the Senegalese players and the entire national team. And that should have been it.
Okay. Ken, I don't know if you have questions for Barrister. Do you have questions for him before we...
Let me just ask him one, because you just talked about Article 82. Did the Senegalese breach Article 82?
Yes.
Okay.
They breached Article 82 to the extent that they walk off the pitch.
Okay. Article 83. Did the Senegalese breach Article 83?
No, they did not, because they turned up for the match, they played the match. Even when they temporarily abandoned the match, they returned back and completed the match, which is not in tandem with the spirit of that Article 83.
Okay, so what is the significance of the word "and" in Article 84, that they need to breach Article 83 and Article 82 for Article 84 to come into force? And some people have said that "and" can also mean "or," that definitely, that because it's like the appeals board did not even mention Article 83. They mentioned Article 82 and Article 84. Do you think that, yes, they are saying, look, that "and" in Article 84 might mean "or" that it is not significant?
Mr. Ken, I agree with the interpretation of the appeal committee, because Senegalese team did not breach in any way Article 83. So Article 83 did not even come into play. But if you look, I don't know which one you are looking at, because I've seen series of provision of Article 84 online, and I am not in position to even.
I can read one because I have the one from the CAF PDF, that the original, not the one that is anywhere. I think that is one we have. That one we have on the screen. I don't know if we can put it. If we can put that one back on the screen, Article 84. Let me try and read it. Why they bring it there? That the team which contravenes the provisions of Articles 82 and 83 shall be eliminated, for good from the competition. That is, the team which contravenes the provisions of Article 82 and 84 shall be eliminated for the competition. The team will lose its match by 3-0 unless the opponent, has scored more advantageous. That they scored more than 3 goals in the organizing committee may adopt further sanctions. So, I mean, that is what he has said. That Articles 80. If you breach Articles 82 and 83, but some of your legal colleagues are saying that word "and" might mean "or." That means that you don't need to breach both Article 82 and 83 for Article 84 to come into force. Do you agree with that position?
The drafter of the law and the maker of the law. The maker of the law, when he's making that law, has background intention of trying to cure a certain mischief. So when the law is enacted, the next function will be for the drafter, who will put it in black and white. Sometimes in trying to do so, the drafter interchange the words, and very, very important conjunctive words in them. So that leaves the function to the judiciary, who will now interpret. And how do you get the interpretation? You have different rules of interpretation. You have the literal rule of interpretation. You have golden, and you have a mischief rule. And in this particular situation, the literal meaning will create absurdity, because Senegal did not contravene provision of Article 83.
Yeah.
So it strictly contravenes provision of Article 82. So if you now say we must have, because there's no how you contravene the provision of Article 82 and 93 at the same time. Article 82 talks about you not even showing up for the match.
Yes.
Or when you showed up, you refuse to even enter the pitch to play.
Yeah.
Whereas Article 83 talks about when you walk off, or you refuse to play or walk off the pitch. So there's no how the two will go together. And that is why you need to go further and abandon the literal meaning, because literal meaning will not give you the true position of the legislators or people who made that law. And that is why mischief rule will come into being. And what is the mischief here? The mischief here is trying to curb a situation where teams will abandon matches. And did Senegalese abandon that match? That is the question. And that is why I'm trying to explain to some people who are arguing that strictly once you walk off the pitch, even if it's for 1 second, that will create problem. If you walk off the pitch 1 second and you return back, will you have forfeited that match? So that is why coming back to the pitch to complete that match had cured the error, the problem the Senegalese incurred in contravening Article 82 of the CAF Code of Conduct.
Thank you so much. I think that is all I have for you, Sisi.
Okay, let me, before we let you go, just one more question from me before we let you go. It has to do with undermining the decision of the referee. What does this set for African football, really?
It is not only in Africa that you see players challenging the decision of the referee. Several, and that is why the rules are there. And I'm not sure if this decision had not, a decision of the CAF disciplinary committee had not been reversed and obtained by the CAF appeal committee, nobody will be talking about this. Nobody. So this is not novel. It had happened before, not only in Africa, in some other European countries, that players, teams will challenge the decision of the referee. And that is why even IFAB law is not made by Africans. This is an international body. And law 5 of the game significantly and emphatically says that final decision of any game and conduct of matches rests with the referee. That law was made not for the fun of it, was to stamp the authority of the referee in every game. So in essence, the action of Senegalese teams is not novel, was not novel rather. And thank God they walked back and completed that match. That has in no way undermined African football, as far as I'm concerned.
All right. Thank you so much for shedding more light to this controversial issue, controversial decision made by CAF Appeal Committee. And hopefully, maybe when Senegal goes to CAF and they win, we can smile, because if that doesn't happen, a whole lot of issues is going to happen, because it seems Morocco, the 2 titles they have won, if this decision is in their favor, were done in a controversial fashion. Remember 1976 against Guinea, they walked out, they came back, they finished the game, and of course then it was just round robin, 4 teams. Nigeria was part of those 4 teams there at that time. Egypt was also part of that 4-nation tournament. That's the first time they won the title. So the second time could be this. There's a lot of controversy surrounding Morocco in terms of winning Africa Cup of Nations. We're going to leave it here, because I know we can spend today's show, the next one, the very next, to talk about this decision made by CAF Appeal Committee. Now, let's go straight to another one. I know Ken was actually eager to talk about this one, thinking just maybe the 100K quid that the president promised the Tigress had entered their pocket. But as of the last time, the money is not there yet. So, Ken, what do you think about this? I mean, they received the documents for houses and national honors when they were playing the FIBA World Cup qualifiers in France, and that was it. So, and we thought maybe the 100K quid will follow, but that is yet to be dispersed. So, but according to the National Sports Commission Chairman Ishe Odiko, he says he assured the girls that the money promised to them by the president is almost in the final stage for disbursement, and that too will soon drop in their respective bank accounts.
Sisi, of course, it is good. We are seeing these pictures that they've collected documents for their houses promised them, and then the national honors. Of course, if it was done in Lyon in France, I should expect probably the national honors should be given to them when they come back to Nigeria and not in Lyon. But it is not peculiar to just the Tigress with about all our sports persons when it comes to issues that borders on a payment of bonuses or promises. A lot of them are not kept. Someday we'll do on this show, we'll compile them, we'll bring people to come and tell their personal stories of how it is. Because I don't expect where for almost how many months now, you are still thinking of how to pay them. When it comes to me, probably our football teams, or maybe the Falcons, the Super Eagles, maybe the Boxers, you will see them when they want to. There is a budget set for every a tournament, for everything, which is inclusive of probable match bonuses or winning bonuses. They've already done that. Now the monies to travel will be there. The monies for hotel accommodation will be there. The monies for extra codes will be there. All those monies will be there. But the money that has to do with, the bonuses, that lie, you will not see it anywhere. Let's hope that it is the final stages. Will not be like waiting for Godot, because some persons have waited and left beyond. We've interviewed coaches on this show who were old, and then the NFF or the NSC refused to pay them or forgot to pay them, or the monies went into voicemail. But this one, it is not only the Tigers that he promised this money. Yeah. Also the Super Falcons. You remember, because it was the Super Falcons first that they promised. I don't know if they've collected their $100,000 before these ones. So let's see. Final stages. Probably it might be a day, it might be a week, it might be a month. I don't know. Maybe it might be a year or years. Let's hope the leopard this time will change its course.
That's the hope and prayer. I know you want to chip in here, and also Theo, what do you think about this one? Because when I saw the picture of them with the girls in Lyon in France, you know what they do now, the escorts, and getting there. And I felt, okay, well, finally they will get theirs, and I hope the Falcons will get theirs, because you remember Austin had an interview with the Diko talking about, the Falcons said when they resume camp in March, that's when they're going to get everything. But Morocco postponed, and when they resumed camp, it was in Cameroon, and so they didn't have the girls together. So theirs is still waiting. The Tigers zone is still waiting.
Yeah, I think the most logical thing to do, knowing the bureaucratic bottlenecks involved in the public sector, is to just add the SLA that maybe after competition, you get paid bonuses, maybe 40 days after. So, because if that is
well, this is actually a gift. This is away from their bonuses and allowances now. This is a gift from the president, the presidential gift.
Yes. You are not a stranger to the black tax. Immediately that gift was announced, the girls will have coughed out something. So that's where we are saying, because just let's codify these things. Gift comes in 40 days after pronouncement. Do you understand? So at least there won't be unnecessary curiosity about when it will come, and perhaps it might never come, just like the 1994 gift that came years after.
It may never come. You're smiling, right?
Yeah, I'm smiling because, like I said, there are certain things that you want to do, money comes out. Regardless of whether it's a gift, whether it's bonuses or allowances and whatnot.
Okay.
But in this particular case, I feel it's sad. I think it should have been paid. But I want to take the word of Shehu Diko when he says that it's going to be paid, because I don't think it's fitting for a country like ours, regardless of whatever. The president has said it. I want to believe that he knows the money was available. That's why he even promised them in to begin with. You understand? But whatever the case may be,
okay, so maybe I should just quickly correct an impression. Public sector is quite different from the...
I understand.
There's something they call environment. You can't just move money from a source
I totally understand.
You can have money for logistics, for transportation, but not for bonus, because that is where environment comes from.
Okay, well, so what you're not saying that in a situation like this, there should be a rule, like a law that says, if there's a gift coming from the president to the sports people, then it should be you have a particular time frame. So it should be fast track.
Yes.
Because you think the money will just be lying there. Because I know that when we ask Ashediko, this question, he says, if the president said to just cough out, 100,000 each, that's if we calculate the money, I'm not a mathematician. It's huge.
It's quite
so this is not money that would just come out from somewhere. So they had to.
What is huge?
President Jonathan was very intentional when he dragged the Minister of Finance to that presidential retreat. Because you can't divert the finance people, the Minister of Finance, that will give the approval to release this fund from this scenario. So that's what I'm saying. The way public sector works is not like the private sector, where you pass approval and you get authorization.
So it takes a while.
You have authorization to.
So how long does that authorization take? How does it take?
Now, this is not the usual what you present before the National Assembly in the appropriation bill. So now this is coming from the presidency. From the presidency. And is this the same country that a minister said you have to even bribe, in quote, another ministry before you get your allocation now? So you have to factor, that's what I'm saying, the bureaucracy, the bottleneck, the logistical challenges, factor everything and say, look, after 40 days, and the MOU be signed, Ministry of Finance, CBN, everybody will be involved so that we know that for these people, we need to pay them within 40 working days.
Okay. I think when that rules works, and not be second want to chip in something, if I allow you to talk, we will not live here, right?
No, I don't believe that when it comes to this, that was where all this problem go. But when it comes to their own personal allowances, they don't face this. It is ridiculous. Some people have been owed over 20 years. Is it the bureaucracy that they keep me for 20 years, 30 years?
Okay.
Do you know Savannah Sopala and Co, they have to go to CAF to get before they got their monies? So it doesn't tell well for us. That's what I'm saying. Okay. And if the president that is the president of this country, not minister or whatever. The president said something. I think the president said something, for goodness sake. Why would we say it is taking this, it is taking that, it is taking what? Monies have been coming in and money that is going out.
It's in final stages, so we are waiting for that final stages for it to hit their various accounts.
Would have been ready since.
Cecilia said it is trekking.
Oh my goodness.
Okay. You need to lose weight when it gets let's quickly talk about I will leave this show without talking about Chelsea briefly. but let's look at the results from the Premier League, just Saturday's results. What's happening to Chelsea is a big question. Like every team got their own season. Manchester United had theirs. At the time, Arsenal also had theirs. Even Liverpool had their own. Manchester City had theirs. Now, this is the season of Chelsea. The difference between Chelsea and the other teams is that they're chipping in so many goals. In 4 games, they're yet to win. And how many goals have they conceded? I lost count 5 plus 3, that's 8 against PSG. Now 3, and then
Newcastle
1. Now Newcastle 1. That's how many? That's 11, 12 goals, right?
And they only managed to score
about 13 goals and scoring 2. So they collected 13, scoring 2. So Chelsea, Everton 3-0. They lost, and Liverpool also lost to Brighton at 2-1, and Fulham and Burnley. Fulham beating Burnley by 3-1. Now let's take a listen to Chelsea's coach Liam. He says it hurt because he's losing so much. 4 games in a row, scoring 2 and conceding so many goals. There are things they need to work on. The players are not working on that, but he hopes that after the international break, they will recover and start winning. If we have him, we'll listen to him now.
The most disappointing evening so far in terms of the things we've spoken about, not gifting goals away, making sure we're in the game, getting control of the game. It wasn't there. And it turned into a really, really difficult evening where the result and performance was nowhere near what we expected or wanted. We arrived into the final third a lot. The moment they scored the first goal, we had an edgy start in terms of cheap giveaways that we gave away. Then we managed to gain control of the game, and we're in their half, and we're arriving and creating moments which we don't take. We're not clinical enough, and then out of nowhere, it feels like out of nowhere they score. And it's not the first time that that's happened. And what happens in football, if you are in a difficult run of games against big teams, your energy levels and your confidence levels can drop if the other team score first, and that's what happened. For me, I don't think there's a lack of effort. I don't think there's a lack of belief or determination in the team. In fact, I felt like Enzo kept going until the very, very last minute today. So I'm aware when you're on a run of defeats that we're on, and when you're on a run of performances that we've had, those things get levelled at you, but I don't think that's the issue in this moment. And it's a disappointing time for the club at the moment in terms of the way we lost in the Champions League and the way we've lost the last 2 games. My job, it hurts, regardless of your position. It hurts to lose games of football. In terms of moving forward and having this time is to look at the bigger picture. We're 1 point away from the Champions League position. We need to keep working in this way. We need to keep giving the players as much confidence as possible. And hopefully this break of games now for us comes at a really, really good moment.
Being a coach hurts, right? It hurts so much. Baby, what do you think about this Chelsea's? I know you support Newcastle. We're happy when they lost, but they are currently leading Sunderland by a lone goal. So sure they'll win.
I know that is a derby.
Okay.
No derby comes bigger.
Yeah, right.
Than that, right?
In the Northeast. And of course, unlike CAF, they still have the Carabao Cup. They will surrender today. So, but I think Chelsea should take a borrowing from the booklet of Celtic and Rangers. This season, Wilfred Nancy got the boot after 33 days for Celtic. And Russell Martins, after 17 games, got the boot. The way this the senior is going, there is nothing, there is nothing, there is no dawn after this dusk.
Okay, Tottenham tried that, Wolves tried that, they're not getting results. Yes. Chelsea should go that path.
Not necessarily. I think that World Club Cup win was, it was able to mask a lot of issues that I think this Chelsea team
and the Conference League.
Yeah, and the Conference League win. Resting so many players, buying so many players. During the World Club Cup in itself, Chelsea bought players that came and the players didn't even know his dressing room at Stamford Bridge. He was already scoring goals at the World Club Cup and they thought they had arrived. But this season they had to play in Europe, stiffer competition all around in the Premier League. The intensity of the league and everything, I think it's telling on them really. And if they're not careful, they might not even play in Europe next season.
Let's quickly take a look at the fixtures for MPFL, Nigeria Premier Football League, quickly, if we can have that quickly.
So, Abia Warriors takes on Niger Tornadoes, Kano Pillars takes on Eyimba, Katsina United and Shooting Stars, Kun Khalifa Ikorodu City, Nasarawa United hosts Table Topping Rivers United, Plateau United takes on Bayelsa and United Affairs, Enugu Rangers takes on Academy Warriors, Remo Stars takes on Kwara United, and Bendel Affair, Warri Wolves taking on Bendel Insurance.
We're going to leave the show now. Carabao Cup, Arsenal, Manchester City. Are you going to be watching anyone? Or if not, which team is your money on?
Newcastle already surrendered that. Champion.
I don't have any money to put on any one of them. I would just enjoy myself. Remember, my first ever appearance on channel television was on Carabao Cup final, so it is something special to me on a Sunday like this. My last word on this show today, even when I'm looking for my biro and then they don't want me to see it, is that CC, we are going to register you because FIFA says every female team must have a female coach. Myself, Okpe, we are going to register CC for FIFA a coaching coach so she can sit on the bench of the Nigerian female teams. That is.
I love my job. Okay, drop your pen. Let's close.
It is the pen to drop.
There's no pen to drop.
Sign my pen.
See you next Sunday.
I'm dropping it. I'm dropping the hands. And next week I should be able to drop my pen.
All right. So please look for the pen and be able to drop it next.
Yeah, let's have a crisis-free week ahead.
Yeah. Crisis-free. Thank you.
I couldn't have said it better.
Let there be peace everywhere. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Cecilia Mogbe. Have a great day.